would say would be the consumers. The consumers of both markets would win. Because for China, China may become the largest market, but largest original market, what will happen as it grows to become the market leader is that it will become a highly diversified, multifaceted, and multicultural industry in its own right. And that part of becoming global leader is that the whole world will adapt. So people are going to now, who are used to a certain Hollywood or more Western-dominated way of doing things, will see a more East-West way. I say East-West way because I don't think it's the intention of China to ever dominate anybody. Historically, China is really not really big on domination, but more interested in sharing its perspectives. And so that's the kind of soft power that they talk about. So in that world where China becomes the biggest market in the world, and that's still a long time away, I think the world would be the beneficiary of that. Well, certainly there's many stories, and when you think about China, with 5,000 years of history, they have nothing but stories. So I imagine, and this is what really both sides are very focused on, stories that actually would appeal to both sides. Because we already know the stories with appeal to China. Those are the ones that aren't traveling, but they're succeeding because they speak to that Chinese ethos. And there's American films that don't travel outside of America because they speak to unique experiences. But in this co-production environment, what we already said, for creative reasons and financial reasons, there's a great deal. There's a good reason for the two sides to come together. Everybody's looking for those stories where East meets West. So some of those stories you described, I think they would be wonderful stories, but as you know, everything what we do is about the execution. And the subtleties, the nuances of creating stories appealing to both sides remains a mystery. Well, first of all, I don't necessarily agree with Bill's remarks, though his remarks are grounded in a perspective of the world that's probably more Hollywood-centric. And he's right in that, because I think the way he described it is that talent can win. And talent in this case does not include someone like me. Talent is someone who's a director, who's an actor. So to the degree that you know how to direct really well, you know how to act really well, and people follow you, you can theoretically succeed anywhere. Right? So talent can win, but for us on the business operating side, it is harder to win because it's such an incredibly it's an industry with a lot of moving parts and it's incredibly capital intensive. So those are the strikes against you. So to the degree that you can mitigate your risk in those areas, you can reduce your risk to a minimum while accessing large tranches of capital to execute these global business models. I think it's the only way to go, frankly. So these individuals that Bill talked about and you named, everybody needs a creative home. Everybody needs a system in a business model that will tackle all these incredibly difficult, complex issues and make them manageable so that their creative visions can be born. And to think that we're going to develop these infrastructure on a project-to-project level and make it go away after the product is done seems almost wasteful. So the reality is that we need, and Orb, my company, occupies a very special place because we know where the risk areas are. We know how to mitigate it, and we've developed a model around how to repeat that over and over again. So I would say that companies such as Orb and others, because we're not the only one, we are succeeding in the marketplace, and we're creating a platform on which talent can comfortably park their creative visions and know that they're going to be met with uncommon partnership in finance and distribution and marketing and in creativity that will fully execute and maximize the real opportunity.